Good conversation today with the state's treasurer, Shane Osborn, my guest. You're not running for re-election. Yet in March, Shane, you said that you probably would. So what changed?
I was looking at that. There's quite frankly, there's two major factors, but the first and foremost factor as to why I'm not running is my personal life. 2009, I went through a divorce. It was a very tough year for me, and I've got 3 children. And I was also last year awarded sole custody of all 3 of my children. So I live in Omaha, commute to Lincoln, and take care of 3 kids, a 12-year-old boy, and Avery, and Isabella's 5, and Addison's 2. She's going to turn 3 here in a couple of weeks. And so life is busy. And I looked at it and I thought, I need to get these kids stabilized. They'd went through a pretty rough couple years, quite frankly. I knew I would eventually get sole custody. I was glad to do that, and now my job is to stabilize and take care of those kids and make them happy. And running a statewide campaign right now, running all over here in 2010, just isn't in the mix. And the second factor, obviously the first was family, and that's the major one, is you'd said earlier your political career. I don't think politics is a career. I believe in serving. I believe in getting in and making the differences you said you were going to do, get it done or don't, and then get out of the way. I don't believe in political careers. I think that you are honored to serve. I've been honored to serve these 4 years. But at the same time, we talked earlier, I set a list of goals out, what I told the people I would accomplish if I were elected their state treasurer. I've accomplished every single one of those goals. And so I just don't see the need to extend another 4 years when I've accomplished my goals. So why don't I let somebody else come in and see what they can do?
So what do you want to do when you grow up?
When I grow up, what I want to do is make sure I've got happy kids, and they are. They're doing well. It's fun. It gets a little sporty, especially in the morning with 2 girls trying to comb hair and get everything ready and get them to school and daycare. But I tell you what, I love it. It's one of those things where you just kind of look back over what I've done with my life thus far, and there's been some rough days, but I'm proud of how well my kids are doing, how well they've adjusted, and like I did in the Navy, I'm doing my job. My job is to take care of them, so that's first and foremost. So when I grow up, who knows? We'll see what happens. I can tell you one thing: every time you try and make plans, the good Lord's going to give you a rudder correction and make changes.
But Shane, is there anything better than being a dad?
There really isn't.
For me, there isn't.
There really isn't.
Nothing can compare.
And this last couple years with this turmoil has really made me even focus more on being a father and taking care and make their well-being. And now being the sole custodian of these kids, that's it. You've got to be there. There's
good for you.
There's no trading off. So for me, it's been it's helped me grow up too.
That'll be time well spent.
Yeah.
So where does all this talk come then about you maybe running for Senate in 2012?
Well, it started with Rush Limbaugh mentioning me on his show, and I've never even talked to the man. I was kind of surprised by that. I think that people know that I'm interested in serving. The federal issues that are going on right now are drastic. I think that the country is in turmoil. We have thrown common sense out the window. I think both parties have strayed away from any sense of fiscal responsibility. And at the end of the day, we can all have the best ideas of what we can do for one another, but if we can't pay the bills, how's it going to work? And so I think that people are tired of that. So I'm concerned. I love this country. I think it's important that we have a country where we leave to our kids a better future than we had. And you know what? Every generation has done that definitively, in my opinion, since the creation of this great nation. We're looking at a time where that's not necessarily going to be the case. And so we need some common sense people that are willing to risk political futures to make the right decisions and not always worry about trying to play these backdoor games. And really, it goes back to what I keep talking about is transparency. Do you think this health care bill, these stimulus packages, do you think any of this would pass if it would have all been out there transparent on the internet where everybody could have seen it? These congressmen and women aren't even reading these bills before they vote on them because they don't have any time. And so this dark in the night cloak and dagger, and both sides have done it. It upsets me. So it's something that I might look at in the future, but it goes right back to point number one. I said, well, I'm not running now. That's 3 years away. A lot can happen in 3 years. But right now, my first priority is making sure that the kids are taken care of. And, I don't think the idea of being a single dad running around with 3 kids and trying to run for U.S. Senate is very attractive at this point in time.
What's your opinion of the job that President Obama has done in his first year?
He's done everything he said he was going to do. I disagree with 99% of what he's done, but he's absolutely told us what he was going to do. And the one thing that's different, I think, between President Obama and a lot of these people in Congress that I disagree with, on the Democrat side specifically, is he's a true believer. He's willing to not get reelected to get through these measures that I think are absolutely un-American and unsustainable, these measures of expanding government. But that's what he said he was going to do. That's what he believes in. So I respect that. It's the people that don't know where they stand in the world and try and make deals that I have a problem with, because I look at it and I think this is one of the significant problems. Right now we're at the lowest rate in our country's history of the Congress of having people who've served in the military. But yet we've been in a war for how many years? So we have so few people. And I also look at still back to what the founding founders thought of what the federal government was supposed to be. What was it supposed to be? National defense and interstate commerce. And now we've just blown and ballooned into this obese government that thinks everybody can do everything. When's the last time the government did something really well? Even if they had the best intentions going in, they just don't do it really well. I think private charities do a much better job of helping people in need. Sure, there needs to be some sort of a government there to help people that are truly in need, but we've gotten to this expectation where if we get in hard times, well, the government's going to take care of it. What kind of thinking is that? That's just not sustainable. And so it's really upsetting to me, and I want to make sure that my kids have a country to live in, quite frankly, where they're going to be able to grow up like I did, with a single mom living in a house that costs less than an SUV, and become state treasurer in Nebraska, overseeing billions of dollars in transactions. I mean, that's the country that I want, and I don't want to give up those opportunities for anyone who wants to work hard and move up the food chain, so to speak, in life. We need to have those opportunities there. And if you dumb it down and everybody gets the same deal, that's going to cause those issues. We've seen this: North Korea, South Korea, East Germany, West Germany, the U.S., the former Soviet Union. What they're trying to do doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Then I got to ask you, Shane, does it matter who's in Congress? If the system sort of moves along in its own momentum.
I think it absolutely matters in Congress.
How are you going to make a difference if you decide to run in 2012?
I will stick true. Everyone will know where I stand on issues going in. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a social conservative. I believe in personal liberty. I'm going to stick to those principles. And if I were honored to get elected, if I were even to run, re-election is not going to be a concern of mine. Getting done what I was sent there to do is going to be the concern. And so I think that we get back to the career talk. People are too worried about, if I make this decision here, I might upset somebody, and then I'm going to be hard up for re-election next time. Well, if you're worried about that all the time, you're not going to get done what you were sent there to do. This is not supposed to be a career. It's supposed to be an ability and an honor to have the opportunity to serve and go in and do what you want to do. And so I think it's important that who we select in the coming years on both sides of the aisle, people that are just straightforward, honest, and transparent. I think that's what I want. Like I said, I'd much rather deal with somebody who's just open and honest what their beliefs are than somebody who's wishy-washy and can't make up their mind, and they'll take the best deal handed to them.
A look back at the single term of State Treasurer Shane Osborn when Lincoln Live continues.